Hello, welcome to or back to my channel. For this video, I'm just gonna kind of give like some tips and do kind of like a Q&A. I've been getting a lot of questions about like the Ross portfolio and then just some like University of Michigan questions in general. So if you didn't know, I'm a freshman at the University of Michigan in the Ross School of Business. This is my first semester. And I've been getting so many questions because the early action deadline is in a few days. Today's the 27th and it is due November 1st, which is weird that I was like submitting mine a year ago and now I'm here. It's really weird to think about. But yeah, hopefully this can help some early action people if you see this before the deadline. If not, I hope this helps some regular decision people, or if you're watching this next year, I hope this helps you as well. So I'm kind of just going to go through the different like essays and give some tips on each one of them because most people had questions about like how to write the essays, specifically the Ross portfolio. Okay, so the first one for the portfolio is to choose a current event or issue in your community and discuss the business implications. Propose a solution that incorporates business principles or practices. So this one I wrote about like healthy eating. Basically, I worked at like a local garden, and I also sold food at their farmers market. And so by doing that, it kind of propelled me to teach cooking classes for underprivileged children. My whole like motto was like healthy eating or like a reasonable price and just like teaching kids how to cook. So that's basically what I wrote about. I feel like this essay is pretty important, but definitely do something that's like you're really passionate about. I think that goes for like any essay, but I think something that is really important is to kind of project your work onto like what you're going to do in college, if that makes sense. Because obviously colleges want to see like how well you're going to do at their school, which is like why they look at your grades, because they're like, oh, if you get this grade, like this is probably how you're going to perform in college. And I think that they think the same way in the sense that it's like, here's what I did in college. Here's what I did in high school that made a huge impact, or like what I'm passionate about. I hope to continue this throughout college, or I hope to find something very similar in college, like through a club. Like this is what I can contribute to the school. This is what I can contribute to like the certain club. I basically wrote about like working at the garden, my cooking classes, and then at the end, I think it was only a paragraph, like it's not a huge chunk. I kind of just said like the expected growth, like if you have a business you're talking about, like maybe talk about the expected growth or like how you can expand that business. In my case, I kind of just said like how I could take what I did like with planting gardens and like cooking classes, how I could do that in college, like whether that's through a club or, you know, just like starting it on your own or doing it like in the community, not necessarily on college, like on the college campus. I think it's helpful for them to see like your goals in college, and then also like what you can, you know, contribute to the school and how you're going to make a difference on the campus. I think that is like a really important part of this essay. Obviously I can't tell you like what exactly to write, but I would say don't go too big with the current event. Like try to pick something local. I think helps because a lot of people are probably going to do like these bigger events, but I also feel like it's hard to like personalize it when these are like really big events. So the next part of the portfolio is to upload a document or artifact that represents something significant about your life to show your learning in action. Describe how your artifact demonstrates your learning in action. So this one, I'm pretty sure it's like a short essay. Mine wasn't anything crazy. I wrote about this magazine I was in, South Base 20 Under 20. But like my essay wasn't really good. Like I feel like my artifact kind of just spoke for itself, but because the essay was so short, I didn't really like write much about it, and I feel like there's probably not a huge emphasis on this essay. I did get a question about if the artifact like has to show something that you've done academically. I would say probably it should. I don't think the artifact has to be academic, but I would say like maybe if it's not academic, take whatever like award that is or whatever accomplishment and tie it into maybe something academic. Like, you know, if it's like in a sport, maybe say like this sport taught me blank, this is how I applied it academically, or it helped me in this sense academically. Does that make sense? Like mine was like a magazine, but I like tied it in because I was like featured for certain things that I've done and those were like academic things, if that makes sense. I don't think it has to be academic, but I would say try to make it like as academic as it can be, or maybe like business related even. Okay, now I'm gonna go on to like the actual UMich essay. So this is like for everyone, or these were at least the prompts last year. I don't know if they've changed. I'm sure the University of Michigan is exactly the same. But this one is, everyone belongs to many different communities and or groups defined by shared geography, religion, ethnicity, income, cuisine, interest, race, ideology, or intellectual heritage. Choose one of the communities to which you belong and describe that community and your place within it. So I feel like I can't really give that many tips for this one as well, just because I don't know what group you're a part of. You can send me like a DM, like, or an email. I'm totally open. I'll put like my handles, but a lot of people have like sent me like some of their ideas, and I love like trying to help them. If like you're kind of struggling with the ideas, maybe I could try to help you with that. But I basically wrote about Chick-fil-A and my dislike for Chick-fil-A at the time. And I kind of just said like, oh, I started a community on TikTok where we're like advocating for like LGBTQ plus rights, because like what the heck is Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A had like some homophobic like scandals, stuff like that. So that's basically what I wrote about. It was definitely my favorite essay, but I feel like this one is nice because it's pretty broad. Like you can basically talk about so many different things. But yeah, I would definitely say maybe choose something with like leadership if it's like starting a community. If it's about like your religion, ethnicity, you could also try to tie in leadership. But I feel like this is definitely a good way to bring in leadership. If not, maybe try to bring it in your like portfolio with like the current event one. Another just like general tip is to not repeat the same information within the essays. I feel like that's common knowledge, but I just wanted to say that. So yeah, I wish I could give you more tips on that one, but if you want like specific feedback, send me a DM or an email and I will try to get back to you as fast as I can. This one I got a lot of questions about. This is the University of Michigan essay. The actual prompt is, describe the unique qualities that attract you to the specific undergraduate college or school, including preferred admission and dual degree programs to which you are applying at the University of Michigan. How would that curriculum support your interests? Okay, this one I think is really important. It's definitely like basic, like it's hard to really talk about yourself that much, but I do think it is like important to like nail this essay. And you can also use, I have like a little outline. You can also use this for other schools. That's basically what I did. I just wrote like one why blank school, and then I kind of just used that as like a template for all of the other ones. Okay, so here's basically what I did. I started off with what I've done to show interest in the school. So this was like during COVID, so it might be a little different, but I went on like virtual tours. I did online information sessions, watched like a bunch of YouTube videos of like campus tours, like stuff like that. If you have toured the school, definitely say that. I had not. So just show like what you've done to like show your interest in the school. Even if that's just looking at like the classes they offer, or just like browsing on their website, like everything that they offer, you can even say that. Or like if you've talked to someone from the school, if you like know an alum, stuff like that. There's like so many things you can like tie in there. And then I talked about my major and what I've done in business that shows my interest for my chosen major. That was like pretty short, but I basically just said like, oh, I want to be in marketing. Here are some of my career goals. I'm pretty sure mine was like marketing. I want to work for like a restaurant group, something like that. These are all like pretty short. Like, I mean, this is not a long essay. The beginning is like pretty short. Yeah, and then I talked about my career goals, which I already mentioned. And then I talked about what Ross specifically offers. In this UMich essay, even though you're applying through LSA, I would still say to just write about Ross, because that's like ultimately where you want to go. If you're also doing like dual degree or like a minor in something, I would say definitely mention that. I just didn't write a minor, or I wasn't doing dual degree. So that's why I just said like business administration and marketing basically. But yeah, for what Ross offers, I talked about some professors. You could also talk about classes if you want. I talked about study abroad because I was really interested study abroad, so I listed like some specific study abroad programs that I'd be interested in. And then I talked about a club I wanted to join. You can do multiple clubs if you have room. And then also resources and programs offered. Example is like the Sanger Leadership Center. So I talked about kind of like community events or just like bigger events that aren't like through clubs. So there's like the Sanger Leadership Center, there's like DEI events, there's like many different events. But basically for like the clubs I want to join and the resources offered, I think something that you should definitely do is talk about something you've done in high school and like why you would want to do that. I have talked about, you know, kind of showing like what you want to do in college, but like this essay is like kind of about yourself, but it doesn't show like too much of what you've done in the past. Is kind of like what you want to do, if that makes sense. And so, for example, I talked about like a club I wanted to join. I was like, oh, I was the president and founder of this business club in high school, and this was like our mission, and I think that could really help me, you know, to thrive in this certain club, something like that. Talked about the same thing with like the leadership center. I've done this in high school. This is why I think I'd be a great candidate for this program. This is what I think I can like bring to this program. It's kind of like the community thing I was talking about earlier, but I think that's really helpful. And it also ties in like things you've done, so they get like a sense of some of your accomplishments as well. And then lastly was just like conclusion. I think you could conclude it many different ways. Basically what I did was just like, oh, places I want to go on campus, like what I'm looking forward to if I do end up going here, and then like how I see myself fitting in. Like I think I'd be a perfect candidate, blah blah blah. Please email me, DM me. I will try to get back to you as fast as I can. If you have like any more questions, you can leave it in the comment section here, but if you have like specific questions to like what you're gonna write about or like more personal stuff, definitely shoot me an email or DM me. Also, if you want me to read my essays, these 4 essays that I wrote, let me know. I can make a separate video. It won't be out before the EA deadline, but if you guys still just want to see it, let me know. I will be happy to do that. DM me, email me, drop a comment if you have any questions. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.